If you're a business owner, you don't need us to tell you running a business is tough. Don't let QuickBooks and spreadsheets slow you down anymore. Now is the time to upgrade to NetSuite by Oracle, the world's #1 cloud business system. NetSuite gives you the visibility and control over your financials, HR, inventory, e-commerce, and more. Join the over 21,000 companies using NetSuite right now. Schedule your free product tour right now at netsuite.com/C-suite. netsuite.com/C-suite.
Welcome back to the Superhero Homies podcast. My name is Quentin, and as always, I'm here with the homie Kevin.
Welcome back. I'm Kevin.
Yep, that's Kevin.
I was trying to copy what you're doing.
So hope everyone had a good weekend. Hope everyone saw Black Panther.
Yeah.
Great.
A few of you saw it twice.
Yeah, great movie.
Indeed.
Yeah, had a lot of fun watching that one. Had a lot of fun podcasting on that one.
Hell yeah, we did.
Yeah, hell yeah, indeed. Yeah, so it's been a good couple days.
Mm-hmm. How's your day been? I haven't asked you yet, man.
Oh, it was a day.
Good enough.
Yeah, it was a day.
Cool.
I'm still alive and shit. So
Oh, really?
Yeah, yeah.
It's good to hear.
Yep, I have not died.
Keep those regular updates posting, buddy. Keep them coming.
Yeah.
Me neither.
Yeah.
Me neither.
Oh man, so how about yourself though? Everything's been copacetic?
Yeah, copacetic, my friend.
Cool.
Yeah.
Yep. So we realized that we haven't actually hit you guys with like what this podcast is even going to be about. We usually tell you guys at least a podcast in advance.
Right, yeah.
But tonight we're talking about superhero teams.
Yeah.
No specific order, so we're not really ranking these, but just kind of going through and briefly touching on some of our favorite superhero teams.
Yeah.
Because there are a lot of teams actually.
Oh yeah.
I mean, there's some that are more mainstream than others, some that were made mainstream that once before really weren't. But so I just kind of have a list compiled here, like some of my favorites that,
cool.
want to talk about, and I'm sure you have yours as well.
Yeah.
So that'll be fun. But of course, before we get into that, we got to discuss some comic news. Oh yeah, it'd probably help if I get my news list up.
Yep.
It'll probably help a little bit. Let's see.
That is a dog in the background.
Yep. So actually, yeah. Damn, I do not have a ton of comic news, but whatever. It gets like that sometimes. Damn, there. Yeah, these dogs have been going.
It's like a dog fight out there. Dang.
Yeah.
Has that been happening on all night?
Kind of, like, since I got back from the gym, like, since, like, I don't know, 6 or so, they've been kind of at it. Hang on, people, I'm going to get my shotgun real quick. I'll be right back.
No.
But yeah, first up for comic news, Punisher Season 2 begins filming February 26th.
Yes!
I mean, think about that for a second. It begins filming February 26th. The show just aired back in, November?
That means it got that much love.
Yeah. The show was extremely well received, and I mean, hey, you guys, I'm assuming heard the Punisher podcast. It was a great show by our standards. So, if that means anything to you,
yep.
But yeah, I just thought it was really cool and surprising that the show began filming that quickly. So I'm like, shit, when'd you guys write the thing? I mean, I'm assuming that they must have had season 2 written before season 1 even aired. And I mean, because in order to have like the scheduling dates for filming and all that, like I'd imagine that a bunch of ducks had to be in a row.
Right.
Because like I've heard of shows and movies having like, moving their production dates forward or closer so they can go ahead and get to it.
Yeah.
But this is really close.
Like, seriously. I just have something funny in my mind, and I hope it's not true to any regard. That's just my mind being my mind. But I did see the trailer for Jessica Jones 2, and it makes me worry on a joking level, of course. Let me underline that, please. It makes me worry on a joking level that they produced Jessica Jones 2 and said, shit, I don't have as much confidence in this as I did in The Punisher. Okay, go ahead. Get quick, jump on the gas pedal. Get that Punisher 2 going. Like, go ahead, back us up. You know? As in other words, like, Jessica Jones is going to be too light of a hit, and then all of a sudden we're back to Punisher. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know either. The weird thing about Netflix is that, they don't really publish or show like ratings or how many people watch. True. No one knows that shit but Netflix.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
That'd be an interesting hunt to like make an effort to do. Like, hey, Netflix shows, which ones are actually successful?
Yeah, I mean, they don't know, and it's brilliant on Netflix's part because. Like if a show does extremely well, and they're like, "Hey, we had such and such many viewers,
like Stranger Things."
Yeah, or we don't even know. So therefore,
okay, well, okay.
Yeah.
It's easy to presume that, but you're right. We don't know.
We don't know. Yeah. I mean, I even listened to a podcast with the Duffer Brothers, the guys that made Stranger Things, and they were asked about about their ratings, how many people watched, and they were like. Honestly, we have no clue. We just go by like how many people hit us up on like social media. Yeah. They're like Netflix is tight-lipped, and that's awesome. And that's the thing. So like going to Netflix for like a raise or a bonus, for your TV show or what have you. I mean, to be fair, Netflix have like the leverage on you, because you really don't know. But kind
of makes me worry because I'm a big fan of BoJack Horseman. Mm-hmm. I'm always scared that not enough people like this show, and all of a sudden, this great story of this goofy premise is going to be completely gone, and I don't want that to happen. I want BoJack to be with me till I don't know till the story starts getting sucky, I guess. But right now the story's nowhere near bad.
Well, see, that's the thing. Like I would want a show to end well before it gets to the sucky phase.
Well, true.
Like, I want it to die on the high point. I don't want it to even decrease. I want to see it down on the high point.
No, that's a fair point, too. Yeah. Like, I want an ending to the story, but we haven't got the story ending yet. Like, we're still traversing the path of freaking Will Arnett's BoJack.
Yeah. Next up, I even told you a little bit about this a couple of days ago just because it was so funny.
Okay.
Sony executive threw a sandwich at Kevin Feige over the Spider-Man negotiations.
I remember that. Yeah, that was awesome.
Yeah, so I was talking with Kevin about this just a couple of days ago because it was so funny. But this has been making its round on social media, so some of you guys may have already heard about this too. So Kevin Feige, of course, he's the executive producer over at Marvel Studios, like the guy who's over pretty much everything. His boss is the mouse, basically.
and maybe Stan Lee.
No,
not even.
No.
Damn,
Stan Lee doesn't have any rights to any of that stuff anymore.
Shit. Yeah. I mean, he's always a producer you see in the credits, but then I guess that's just almost out of politeness.
Pretty much.
That's what that sounds like now. Damn.
Yeah.
But he's still making that money.
He's making most of his money from appearances now. I mean, like, he doesn't really get paid off of these movies.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, I would have thought that. Okay. That was educational for me. Mm-hmm. All right, I learned shit. All right. What you were saying.
But so, essentially, this took place a couple years ago. If you guys remember back when the emails leaked, I don't know who leaked those emails, but there were emails about Spider-Man potentially coming from Sony over to the Marvel Cinematic Universe to Disney. And so these emails about the negotiations got leaked, and of course everybody jumped on that. I'm sure a lot of you listeners probably remember these. But so Kevin Feige recently just told the stories about those emails, more specifically the meetings that led up to those emails. And so Kevin Feige was having a meeting with some of the Sony executives about these negotiations, and as they were speaking, I'm not sure exactly what was said. He was kind of vague as to exactly what led up to this point. I don't know if it was his offer, or I don't know if maybe Sony thinks that he lowballed them or what have you. But essentially, one of the executives, it was a woman. She threw a sandwich at Kevin Feige. Now, I don't know the nature of the sandwich. Don't know if it was half eaten.
I don't know, right? Like, what type of sandwich was this?
Yeah.
We don't know.
We don't know.
Like Netflix, we don't know.
We just don't know, yeah. All we know is that Kevin Feige had a sandwich thrown at him.
And my further question is, we don't even know if this was, like, out of a joking manner. We don't know the tone of it. We don't know the intent of the sandwich.
He said that she was half joking, half serious.
Oh,
okay. In this business setting, I don't know what that means.
Right. It's like he cracked the joke, but on a serious level, like, hey, it'd be sweet if, Marvel actually owned Marvel's own Spider-Man character. And I don't know. That's me filling in the blanks. You know?
Who knows?
And then this chick was like, hell nah, here's my ham and cheese. Or, what if it was even messier, like a peanut butter and jelly? Then all of a sudden it's like Kevin Feige's just like, thanks. I really wanted peanut butter up on my cheek.
Damn, so now we're assuming that him in the face. And we're also...
If you threw a sandwich at someone, where would you want it to hit them? Come on.
Well, where I wanted to go in Red Lands is two different things.
Well, if you threw a sandwich half angry, half joking at me right now, where would you want it to hit me? Where would it be the most impactful?
I repeat my previous statement. Where I want it to go and where it lands is two different things.
Well, where would you want it to land if you could choose?
If I was serious, I want to hit you in the face.
Exactly.
If I'm joking, then I'm just throwing it at you.
Okay. If this chick was joking, then I suppose she just chucked it and it shoulder brisk or something. Okay.
Right. And I
that's
assume...
possible too.
I also assume that someone as rich as a Sony executive wouldn't have a peanut butter and jelly sandwich.
You don't know that, man.
I don't know.
Hey, PB&J is still a PB&J. Just the more money you got, the fancier bread you got. Okay? That's all it is. And maybe some of the crunchy peanut butter.
Gotta go with smooth.
No, I'm a big smooth guy myself.
Yeah.
You guys type in the comments what peanut butter.
Oh, man.
I really want that to happen now. Just like smooth.
Yeah. So, next up.
Anyways, what's going on?
Black Panther is already projecting a $387 million haul. From the 4-day weekend. So this is what they're projecting now, including Monday, President's Day. Right, President's Day.
Yeah, that's tomorrow. Yeah.
And that is a huge, huge opening. I mean, that's astronomical. I didn't have time to look up and to compare it to like other like top tier superhero movies like Avengers or Civil War, but this is definitely up there. I mean, I think I would go so far as to say and be so bold as to say I think this beats Civil War as far as the opening weekend.
Maybe.
Because Civil War made an assload of money.
Well, they said Ragnarok actually made an assload of money too.
Oh yeah, I don't think it had this. I don't think it had this kind of opening haul. Like this is damn near unprecedented as far as like this opening haul that it's making. But yeah, that's incredible. And of course, kudos to Ryan Coogler, kudos to Kevin Feige and everybody at Marvel, everyone who worked on the movie. Because I mean, I guess not to spoil our Black Panther review cast, but we loved it.
Oh yeah.
And of course, like we hope that the movie continues to succeed because the better the movie does, the better our podcast does.
Very much so. Yes.
As a matter of fact, we just talked about this before the podcast, but this has quickly grown to be one of our most played podcasts already.
Oh yeah.
The Black Panther review cast, that is. So thank you to all you guys listening. Hopefully, some of you guys are sticking around.
And thank you to you guys who have shared the podcast as well. Those of you who are listening in and decided to see what we were about. For sure.
Most definitely. That's greatly appreciated.
Hell yeah.
Next up, and the last thing that I had to talk about here was the Venom teaser trailer. And the reason I have this on my list to talk about is essentially because I'm sure that everyone here listening has seen it. Now, there's some people that have mixed feelings about the trailer. What are your thoughts on the Venom trailer?
I'm one of those people.
Oh, you have mixed thoughts on the trailer?
Yeah, I mean, the trailer itself looked cool and stuff. Okay, let me be technical. The trailer looked good, you know. Tom Hardy, right?
Oh, yeah.
He looked like a badass,
he's Tom Hardy. So.
Exactly. No matter what he does,
Right.
Even if he plays a movie where he's his own twin, come on.
But, that means he looks like two badasses.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But, I don't know, the movie itself, I'm just kind of like sitting on the fence a little bit for. Like it's like I kind of want a little bit more before I invest too much emotion into this. Like, before I invest too much hope.
Yeah.
Because I don't want to be like, oh my gosh, this was a dashing crash. There's the plane. It's smoldering.
Right.
There's nothing left. The symbiote melted.
Damn.
Like, I don't know how you melt a symbiote. You probably shouldn't be able to, but still.
Yeah.
Either way, I mean, the trailer looked good. It really did. It was strange. It was, it wasn't what I expected, really.
Right.
Yeah. How about you? What are your thoughts?
So here's the thing about me is that before the trailer, I was definitely one of those people who I'm not going to say I was writing the movie off, But my whole thing was, I don't know how can you be so presumptuous as to do a Venom movie without having the symbiote being introduced to Spider-Man yet? To me, that's just ass backwards and a little ridiculous. That's
right.
To me, that seems like Sony jumping the gun again. Like they tried to do with the Sinister Six, tried to force all that into the Amazing Spider-Man 2. But after seeing the trailer, I actually have a little bit more hope for it, and I'm in the minority about this.
Okay.
A lot of people didn't like the trailer for the wrong reason. A lot of people were expecting they were like, "There's no symbiote. We didn't see actual Venom in the Venom trailer." And I'm like, "Well, damn, guys, it's a teaser."
Right. Like,
and also,
work up to that.
yeah, and also, plus, do we want another pink Thanos? Do we want to see more unfinished? Do we want to see more unfinished CGI?
Yeah.
I don't think we do. So I much prefer them, just do what they did and give us the teaser.
Could
and then
you imagine? He's still green from the green suit. It's like, what the shit? You look like the alternate costume fighting game Venom. Like someone pressed square instead of X on your character, and now you're pink Venom.
Oh, shit.
You know how some fighting games are. Yeah, alternate costumes. Yeah. Okay.
But so essentially, I guess to most people who feel that way, my sentiments would be, be patient. The movie comes out in October. It's not a summer release,
right?
So
we got
time. So the fact that we don't have a full-fledged trailer yet, I'm fine with. What they showed us had me a bit intrigued because of the tone of the trailer.
Very much so.
So I'm hoping that Tom Holland is involved, if for nothing else, just for the plot. And if they do, if the rumors are true and they are putting Carnage in the movie as well, then I hope that they can work it out good.
Yeah.
Because here's the thing, like here at Superhero Homies Podcast, it would be redundant and hypocritical for us to want a superhero movie to fail.
Right. No, we don't want that. Yeah, we want all of them to be great.
Yeah.
Every
single one of these, because the more that these superhero movies do well, then the more that this media, this niche, is opened up to more and more people who may have not been previously interested. So
exactly.
Yeah. But yeah, that's all we pretty much have for for the comic
superhero
news. Yeah, superhero news, comic news of the week.
Even better, super comic news.
Super comic news.
Because there's no comic news; it's all super news.
Yeah, that's right.
What's going on?
Next up, we got our comic question of the week. Kevin, are you ready?
Yes.
Indeed.
Right.
Indubitably. You got last week's question correct.
Indeed, I did.
Yeah.
That makes 2.
Yep. Out of how many?
No, stop that. Out of who cares? Please don't keep track, fans.
Or dude, that'd be kind of fun.
I know, right? A year from now, that's going to be a T-shirt.
Yeah.
There's going to be a giant fraction.
Yeah.
And people are going to look at each other and be like, oh, that's right. He's been sucking, hasn't he? You can reduce that fraction, too.
That'll be... I will say we'll make that one of our T-shirts, but it will constantly be changing, so... But anyway, I know I always say this, but this time I do truly mean it. I feel confident that you're going to get this one
now
right.
I'm not going to. Every time you say that, I'm just like, well, shit.
I do. I feel like you're gonna. I feel like you'll be able to get this one. I don't know why. That's just this feeling I have. I think you got this one, buddy.
What was Wolverine's original name? It's like,
damn.
Oh, wait, really? Are you sure that you want that to be the question?
Right. That'd be like, I will only ask you that if I found out 30 minutes before the podcast they changed Logan's name and it wasn't James Howlett.
At that point, I would be pissed. I would royally just break shit. Like, what can I break in here?
But so your question of the week, Kevin, is which Avengers villain primarily uses time travel? And your options are A. MODOK, B. Korvac, C. The Beyonder, D. Kang the Conqueror.
Those four?
Those four.
Just making sure there wasn't a dramatic lead into a fifth one or something.
Or E. Quentin, co-host of Superhero Homies podcast.
Not that one. Boy, do I wish, though. Well, then, why are you a villain, bruh? What happened? Let me talk you down. You end up just killing me or something. Like, well, shit. And I love how in my own make-up joke, I'm the one who's dead.
Yeah. Shit.
But then I rebirth because it's a comic book.
That's a comic book.
Okay. So you said MODOK?
B. Korvac. Okay. C. The Beyonder. D. King the Conqueror.
I'm probably overthinking it. I might overthink these. I was primarily saying no to B, but now I'm kind of feeling either B or C. The Beyonder. I just don't know enough about that person, that entity. Why is it so beyond? Why doesn't it come closer? And then you said D one more time?
King the Conqueror.
King the Conqueror.
Kang with the G. Yep.
Kang.
Yep.
Who primarily uses time travel. Now let's talk about that a little bit. In other words, that is their constant go-to. They didn't time travel once and now they're here and they're just dicks.
No.
Right. Just making sure. Because King the Conqueror sounds like some guy from the past who just decided, let me come up and see what this present's about and be like, oh shit, look at these guys. I'm going to, conquer them. That's my main sword for Kang, by the way.
Yeah, that's your take on Kang. Okay.
Let's go. Korvac, final answer.
Korvac, final answer.
Yes, that was me flipping something in the background, guys.
Yep.
Because it was either B or C in my mind. Either the Beyonder sounds too easy. That sounds like some prick that's got too much going on for him. I don't know. Like it's easy to presume he's a time traveler, but I don't know enough about him to just drop that on him.
Right.
So I don't know.
Korvac is incorrect, Kevin.
Okay.
Yep. It was actually D. It was King of the Conqueror.
All right, I'm done. Guys, this is Q's podcast. I'm going home.
No.
After all that talk I just did.
Yeah. That's why I was like, oh, he's got it. He's okay. No, he went with Korvac.
He went off track. He flipped the ring. Oh, shit, why did he flip it? Yeah. Okay.
Yep. King of the Conqueror, he's actually who I think that Marvel's going to go with next as far as their main big bad villains. I think they probably, once they're done with Thanos, I think they'll go to Kang.
You mean being like the big arching villain?
Oh, yeah, if they do another one, I think it'll probably be Kang.
Okay.
Or at least he'll be, I think he'd be a villain in a Avengers movie.
Right.
Like the villain.
Cool. Okay.
Yeah. That's what I think. MODOK.
I knew it wasn't no daggone MODOK.
MODOK is highly intelligent, made by AIM. They do some weird shit, so...
Yeah, for sure, but no.
Yeah, Korvac, he's an OP villain, overpowered villain for sure.
Yeah.
He's got some immense power, and never seen him time travel, though.
Yeah, okay. Yeah. That's why I was kind of guessing him, because I knew he was super powerful, I just didn't know to what extent.
Right.
Yeah.
And of course, the Beyonder, a.k.a. Marvel God, I think the only one... Ironically enough, the only one above the Beyonder is the one above all.
Yep.
Don't
say.
Yeah. That's the only being in the Marvel universe who I personally think has more power than the Beyonder. So that is the comic question.
I probably should have just said the Beyonder because, well, you say primarily. That's the key word. So never mind.
Yeah, the Beyonder, I'm sure he can time travel, but I've never seen him do it. I mean, it's well within his range of power, I'm sure, but. Once again. Okay. And then also he's I just kind of threw the Beyonder in there. It's like a monkey wrench because he's not technically a villain. He's kind of neutral.
Right.
You're not going to fight. You're not going to fight the Beyonder. I mean, it's a useless fight.
Right. He's just going to be like, oh, I'm sorry, you're trying to do what?
Right.
Or your existence is gone.
Yeah. Yeah, the very first issue I read the Beyonder ran, I don't remember how old I was, but I remember I was super confused because he was talking with someone, I forget who, and then he summoned a fight with the Hulk. Like, out of nowhere, the Hulk pounced on him, started pounding him into the ground, and then he snaps his finger, and the Hulk disappears. He goes, I forgot I scheduled you that for this time. Anyways, yeah.
Who says, I need a beat down from the Hulk? No, me personally, I'm going to get beat down. Come here, Hulk, give me a punch, son. Doosh. Okay, go home.
Yeah.
Who does that?
Yeah.
I guess the... balance the cosmos or whatever.
You get bored after a while.
I suppose so. Give me a punch. He wanted to be Tyler Durden. Who knows? Anyways.
Yep. So
what's
anyways, so the podcast for this Sunday evening, ladies and gentlemen, is indeed superhero teams. So we're just going to be talking about some of our favorite superhero teams. I mean, I'm sure you guys are familiar with a lot of them. A lot of them have been in big time movies. A lot of them are super popular. Some, maybe not so much. But so yeah, I just kind of want to go and talk about some of my personal favorites, and I'm sure you got your personal favorites as well.
Yeah, I got
so I figured,
yeah.
So I figured we just do like a little back and forth. I'll do one, you do one type deal.
Cool.
Yep.
Cool.
Okay. You want to go first?
Yeah, sure. I mean, one of my favorites we've already spoken about in the past. I've been a big fan of them for well beyond the beginning of our podcast, because I remember picking up one of their comics that we have downstairs, and I was just kind of like, wait a minute, all these people are on this team? What? This is such an OP team. And that's purely why I like this one team. The comic run itself has definitely changed for present day storytelling, because we don't see this, nor have we seen it. I'm talking, of course, about the Defenders. The original lineup is completely different from the Marvel Netflix TV series lineup, which there is Luke Cage, Jessica Jones, Daredevil, and Iron Fist, and debatably wishy-washy depending on his mood, Frank Castle in the future. Let's hope, nudge, nudge, wink, wink. Talking to you, Marvel. Anyways, but no, it's entirely different from that lineup, which is fascinating, because that's a great story, and I love it, and I'll watch it, and I'll binge it. But the original lineup was some real OG OP shit.
Right.
I'm talking Doctor Strange, Hulk, Namor, and freaking Silver Surfer, okay? Yeah. Enough said.
Right.
You don't need any more.
Yeah, it's like, what kind of threat needs all that?
Exactly. You got some bomb strength going on with the Hulk. You got the freaking Sorcerer Supreme with Doctor Strange.
Right.
You got Namor. He owns the waters,
and
man.
Like this is back before they nerfed Doctor Strange's powers. Like back when Doctor Strange still was doing some ridiculous bullshit.
Exactly. Almost god level stuff, a titan of magic. And then on top of that, you get Silver Surfer. The rider of the cosmos.
Yeah.
Like, what else could you possibly need? Who cares if this team had other people on it, like Valkyrie from, most people now know of her thanks to
Ragnarok.
That.
Yep. I feel like
I'm joking. It's not that bad. I was about to say it. You just beat the punch.
I feel like you need
at the moment.
Like you may need like comic book therapy, man. Like we're gonna have to.
That's called a punching bag.
We're gonna have to sit down and hash it out. Okay, about Ragnarok.
We're gonna have to do the same about a lot of shit. Then, all right. I mean, do we need to bring up past villainry of Civil War natures? Anywho, he was still in Black Panther 2, by the way.
Yep.
Just for a second, he was on screen.
Oh yeah, I even said this for the Black Panther podcast. Like that's why Black Panther did not surpass Winter Soldier, because Zemo.
I remember that joke now.
Because Zemo was still in it.
Damn you, Zemo.
Just kidding.
Zemo and Ragnarok in a bar somewhere.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I oddly enough, I do hope to see him come back.
Who, Zemo?
Yeah.
Okay.
If for nothing else, just for redemption of the character.
Oh, yeah. I mean, there's definitely potential there. It may be something that helps him to be more like his actual comic self.
Yeah.
That'd be cool.
Right. Now, does he need to come back? Does it make sense for the MCU? Maybe not.
Not really.
But just for redemption's sake, it'd be nice to see him.
Because in the movie, he was just a disgruntled guy who lost his
family.
He
was a disgruntled, war veteran who lost his family.
Yeah.
But... yeah. Anyways, but speaking of the
support group with Frank Castle, but yeah, let me go back to
the Defenders.
I mean, Defenders were awesome. They had a ton of other people that came in and out of the group as the comics saw fit.
Right, and you're right. The current incarnation of the Defenders is completely different.
Yeah, the only original member is Luke Cage.
Yeah.
He was a part of this old school running of the Defenders.
Yeah, and by original, I mean, you mean he was part of the crew back in the day. He wasn't part of the original.
Oh, no. The original was those four I mentioned.
Yeah.
And then Silver Surfer departed for a while solely because Stan Lee wanted to write for him personally and didn't want anyone else having him. And that's cool. That's all right, you know. And then, like I said, the team has had a huge run-in with a bunch of other names that came in and out of the team as they saw fit, such as Valkyrie, Nighthawk, Hellcat, Beast, Son of Satan, which Okay, now you have Hell's powers on your team.
Right.
I'm presuming. And then Luke Cage, of course. So, bye-bye bullets. But at that point, it's like... And then Luke Cage, who's like... I'm sure, like, him standing next to the Hulk is like, well...
Yeah.
Okay. I guess I'll be backup or cleanup or crowd control.
Yeah.
Not to insult Luke Cage, because he's still the man.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, no, I mean, this team itself was... definitely one of my most powerhouse choices, dude.
Oh, yeah.
Like, I can't imagine any other incarnation, or excuse me, any other run of team being able to go toe-to-toe with these people,
Yeah. The OG Defenders were great. But I do also like the current incarnation of the Defenders as well.
Oh, yeah, no, I love like I said before, I love the Netflix take on it.
Yeah, it's not just Netflix, but it's also canonically now. I mean, that's those are the Defenders now in the comics.
Awesome, good. I mean, that's awesome. I'll have to actually go read some of that. But I loved the Netflix series and all that. Like, I was a big Jessica Jones fan, and I was a huge Daredevil fan, obviously.
Oh yeah,
and all that leading into Defenders itself. That was just a great season of television.
Yeah, agreed.
But that's my team.
Nice.
How about you?
Very nice. I have Fantastic Four on my list.
Okay.
Yeah, of course. They debuted, and when you know it, Fantastic Four issue number 1.
Oh, really? Ooh.
Wouldn't it be weird if they debuted in Fantastic Four issue number 18?
At that point, it's like, I'm sorry, what was this renamed from?
Right.
Fantastic Three.
Back in November of 1961. So this was the first superhero team created by Stan Lee and Jack Kirby. So, I mean, they took a lot of pride in this one. I mean, for a lot of obvious reasons. Like... I really like the Fantastic Four because they're extremely unique. Like, they have a unique concept and even unique abilities. I mean, so of course, just real quick, they were on a mission traveling through space when they got hit by a bunch of cosmic rays that transformed them. Of course, the super intelligent, brilliant Reed Richards became Mr. Fantastic, able to stretch his body to any limits. Sue Storm, also brilliant in her own right. She became Invisible Woman, able to, of course, become invisible. And later on, she became able to create force fields to magnifying links and strengths. Then, of course, Johnny Storm, her younger brother, became the Human Torch, able to engulf himself in flames without causing himself any harm, able to fly and emit those flames at extreme temperature. And, of course, Ben Grimm, best friend to... Mr. Fantastic became the Thing, the gigantic orange rock-like creature with immense strength, durability, and endurance. And so together they became the Fantastic Four. So what's really great about that is, once again, is that they are, in my opinion, a highly unique group. To me, they're more adventurous than they are superheroes. I mean, they do fight a lot of, interdimensional crimes and threats, but they're more than that. I think that they're adventurous first. They go on adventures and they see what the universe and what interdimensional things have to offer. And something else is also interesting about the Fantastic Four is, I mean, without them, then we wouldn't have Silver Surfer, Galactus, Doctor Doom, Skrulls, Black Panther. I mean, all of them made their first appearances in Fantastic Four. So I think just looking at that alone says a great amount about them. The unfortunate thing about them, however, is that they've never had a really good standing in movies. So I'm still waiting for that good Fantastic Four movie. And, once this Disney deal finally goes down and Marvel has all the rights, then I'm hoping that they can finally, give us a really good Fantastic Four movie. Just, I don't care how you do it, just do it.
Basically, yeah.
Yeah, give us that Fantastic Four movie. I mean...
We can hope and pray.
Yeah. But yeah, the Fantastic Four to me is just, they're great.
Michael B. Jordan is going to be like, nope. I'm not going near that. No, sir.
Yeah. Well, I'm pretty sure they get a whole new cast.
Yeah, no, for sure. Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, I just always feel like Fantastic Four were extremely underrated for one reason or another. But I mean, shit, man. Like a lot of these comic events, man. They need the Fantastic Four in one capacity or another. So yeah.
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 I mean, that's true. Fantastic Four has always been seen as one of the staple teams, you know?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And it's also been fascinating what they've been able to do with the Fantastic Four, because I remember Spider-Man rocked with the crew for a spell.
There was a point where it was like Spider-Man, I think Ghost Rider, Black Panther, and Storm.
Which is also still awesome.
Yeah.
Especially that all those individual talents still agree to uphold the sanctity of Fantastic Four, you know? Yeah.
But they're also interesting in the sense that the Fantastic Four is, they're a family. They're not just, a group of people that know each other. They really are a family. And you see that family dynamic is really interesting, like especially during the Civil War arc when they were literally split. Johnny, he got attacked and put into a coma by like a group of civilians, and that put him down, and that caused like a rift, and that rift further between Sue and Reed, because Reed, of course, using his brain and logic to the side of Tony Stark, and and eventually Sue was like, I had enough, and Sue just left, and so like there's this huge rift between them, and seeing how they interact and seeing that they're more than just their abilities, which is what I look for, and when I look for my comic book heroes, and seeing that and seeing how they mend that is, I think, really interesting.
Yeah.
Who else you got?
Who else I got? I've always been a big X-Force fan, dude. Ever since the one that you let me borrow, I definitely did have to go and do my own research, and it was fascinating to me that for a time, Cable was actually the leader of the original X-Force, which, awesome, cool. The comic I read was the one you let me borrow. Help me remember the name of it. I think it was just X-Force, the graphic novel.
It was.
Which one?
It was part of a graphic novel run.
Yeah.
This centered mostly around Bastion, the mutant hunting android who was terrifying.
And it centered more around the new incarnation of X-Force.
Oh, yeah. This was Cyclops' version of the X-Force. Cyclops gave Wolverine the reins to do.
Yeah.
Yep.
That's very true. That's the version that I definitely fell in love with first. The one where Wolverine became like this almost more military-esque leader, and his crew was more of a spec ops operation. The original X-Force wasn't quite like that. No. This version, though, was very cool to read about because it was almost like Cyclops became this political leader of sorts and said, okay, look, you're going to have to...
Say Santa Claus?
No, Cyclops.
Oh, I was like, what? Santa Claus. I thought she said, and Santa Claus became this. I was like, where's she going with this metaphor?
Ho, go campaign over there. Sell my name.
Well, continue.
No, Cyclops, the not big red jolly man, with red beams, decided, that, hey, X-Men are great, we do good things, but sometimes we have to exterminate. And as the good guy team, we can't do... Exactly. Sometimes we actually have to do permanent things. We have to put down those who won't change.
Right. Put down those who are a threat to mutant kind.
Yeah. And of course, who's his go-to when that mentality comes into mind? When that becomes a tool you have to pull out of the bag? Wolverine.
Yeah.
Tells him, look, man, you're going to run the team. I need you to put them together. Eventually, he gets a great team together.
Oh, yeah.
Wolverine, Psylocke, Deadpool, Archangel.
There was Phantom X. There was X-23. There was Elixir.
Yeah.
He had a great lineup.
Oh, yeah. I mean, it was awesome reading about them. And who was the other guy?
There was Warpath.
Yeah, thank you. You read my mind, son of a gun. Thank you. But yeah, no, just reading about this team was very much a whole new experience for me.
And not to cut you off, but that incarnation of X-Force I thought was particularly well, just because it really fit the tone of comic that I like to read from time to time. I mean, if you have to give most graphic novels or trade paperback stories or like a movie rating, most of them would be PG-13. X-Force was a hard R.
Oh yeah.
There was so much. There was a lot of blood, a lot of death, and like the artwork as well by I think Christopher Yost. I think he did a lot of the artwork on it, and it was just amazing. Like he was able to blend it well perfectly.
Yeah. I really enjoyed it, man. Yeah, even that one graphic novel I read. And there's some other stuff I've read, but nothing in quite so much of an awesome collection as that one I borrowed at that time.
Right.
But, nah, man. I'm an X-Force guy.
Yeah. I feel like we were probably a couple years late, but I finished that collection, right? Like, did you ever borrow any other ones?
I did. I borrowed another one. I don't think I borrowed all of them, though. I haven't finished it. Because I remember, I kind of wanted to, but then we jumped on something else, and, I'm ADD as hell. So, yeah. Yeah.
Next up on my list is Teen Titans. They made their debut in The Brave and the Bold, issue 54, back in 1964. Man, the 60s were a time for comic books, man. Like, I think most of the ones on my list were around in the 60s, or debuted in the 60s.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah. So the original lineup of the Teen Titans were Kid Flash. At that time, Kid Flash was Wally West. That's who it typically is. Aqualad, it was Robin, of course, Dick Grayson, Robin, and Wonder Girl. She came along shortly thereafter, and then a couple years later, we get about a couple years, like 10 or so, between that range, we get more of the mainstream version of the Teen Titans. So in addition to like Robin and Kid Flash, we get Starfire, Raven, Beast Boy, Superboy.
Yeah, that's kind of more what we're familiar with. Yeah.
Right. Yeah, and then of course,
thank you, cartoons.
Oh yeah. So for me, Teen Titans was a really great concept, because I love the idea from the beginning that we're more than just sidekicks. That we can go out and we can do things on our own. Like, we can get shit done. And I loved it not just because it wasn't just a typical kids band together and save the day. It was a learning experience for them. It was time for growth. It was trying to figure out how to work together. It was trying to figure out how to use the tools that their mentors had given them to really get shit done, to prove that they can handle the mantle, so to speak. Yeah. And I thought it was really good. And of course, in Teen Titans, Deathstroke was, in the TV show, that is, the cartoon, Deathstroke was their main antagonist. And I think that probably most has to do with the fact that the Teen Titans comics, I think that arguably their biggest storyline was the Judas contract.
Right. Wasn't Deathstroke his origin began with the Teen Titans, didn't it?
I think essentially it did with one of his sons, Jericho. But yeah, so I really love the fact that they have such a formidable villain to kind of go against, like someone who can go hand in hand with Batman and flip a coin and he could win.
Basically, yeah. What day of the week was it? Okay.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. But yeah, so I think that Teen Titans, like you said earlier, was one of those TV shows where people our age really grew up with. Not that shitty Teen Titans.
Right? Though. No, asterisk the first one, not this. The funny thing is, and this is a complete side note, but I feel like it's worthy, Teen Titans Go actually made fun of itself and said that its predecessor was the better version. And they did it mid-episode.
Right.
Like, apparently they did, and it was a short spiel or something. I didn't watch the whole thing. Of course I'm not going to watch a whole thing of Teen Titans Go. But it was like some villain was telling them, yeah, no, you guys existed before, and your other part was so much better than you guys are now. It's like, what? No, it's not. You suck. Yeah, there was a lot less crap jokes and everything.
Yeah.
And it was like throwing them into the dirt, and then they binged the whole series or something like that. I'm imagining that's what they did, because eventually they were all like, oh my gosh, we were so much cooler.
I mean, but it's true though.
It is, yeah.
Teen Titans Go is a shitty cartoon. And listen, I know that in the past we may have said that we're going to try to not shit on things as much, but Teen Titans is shit. We're not shitting on it.
We shouldn't complain about it, no. But it was not a fun show.
Yeah, this deserves to be complained about, because the original Teen Titans was phenomenal. It was really good. It was really good. And
can I admit something else?
What's that?
Originally, I tried so hard to not like the show.
Really?
Only because my little sister loved it, and she'd always watch it. And I didn't want to admit it was a cool-ass show.
Yeah, oddly enough, I was the same way about Powerpuff Girls.
There you go.
Yeah.
You get it.
I get it. I understand that struggle. Yeah. But yeah, so as far as like their media appearances go, like we said, they had the original Teen Titans, which was awesome, and then Teen Titans Go, which is not so good. You know, Teen Titans Go is getting a movie like in theaters this year.
Wait, what?
Yeah.
Why? Who bought that?
I don't know. You know what's funny? Like, I'm gonna say this one last thing, and then I'm gonna move on from shitting on Teen Titans for now.
I guess.
But I guess like the creator, he even mentioned that I get a lot of hate mail from people saying that this show sucks and that they want their original show back.
Yeah.
But I mean, for whatever reason, like they just don't budge. I mean, the problem is, and the show fails for a couple of reasons. One, because it's purely just a bad show. Like none of those characters are represented correctly, and that's a sin when it comes to comic book adaptations. If you don't represent the characters, then you failed. Yeah. And also it's shitty because their audience that they have, the original Teen Titans was one age group, and then we grew up, and then they took the show, canceled it, and made a show for a younger audience.
Right.
For like, I mean, I don't want to say a dumber audience, but for an audience that has less mental capacities.
At the same time, this was around the time where they discovered Chowder was becoming such a large and popular hit. That was pretty good. But then after Chowder became other shows that were slowly changing and transforming into that new animation, you know? We left the Batman animated series. We left the Justice League cartoon. We left all those...
The prime time days.
Exactly, yes. And then we became more infatuated with this easier animation, this less effort, quicker to make.
Right. This where you have like maybe 3 or 4 different animated archetypes, and then you just make detailed differences to create the characters.
Yeah. And that's exactly what it was. Right. That's all all that crap is now.
Yeah.
These kids aren't going to know the awesomeness of freaking like Powerpuff Girls or Dexter's Lab or any of that cool stuff. Yeah.
But one last thing about Teen Titans before we wrap up is that Teen Titans, they are getting their, of course, the live action TV show, I think later on this year. And I'm really hoping that one does well. Like, I haven't seen a whole lot from it yet. They haven't shown a whole lot.
I was about to say, we know any casting calls or anything like that?
Yeah, it was maybe a month or so ago. During the comic news, I made mention of the TV show when it was first announced. And I showed you a picture of the guy playing Robin, as a matter of fact.
You did?
Yeah.
I don't remember, but you did. Obviously, otherwise I wouldn't have asked again. Yeah. I don't know. I'll ask you again later. Yeah. And then maybe a second time after that.
I believe it. Yeah. I believe it. So what else you got?
My friend, I went with another powerhouse team just because, one, they're super creative. The concept of them and who they are it's also fascinating to me, really. It's like, really? We're doing this? And we're getting away with it, too? Oh, that's really cool. The Inhumans.
Very nice.
I think it's super cool that you can decide that there's going to be a population of people, of super beings that are either A, too damn super, or B, too damn mutated for the rest of humanity on its protected little naive Earth. No, we're going to move our cool selves to live on the moon. And that's what we're going to do. And we're going to have a monarchy. We're going to have a royal family, too, because why the hell not?
Yeah.
And you know who's going to be the king of that family? The one dude who can't talk.
Who shouldn't talk.
Who should never talk. And if he talks, shit blows up. I'm talking Black Bolt, people. That's just awesome to me. I mean, this is a crew of people that in its older years went toe-to-toe with Silver Surfer. You know, someone of that much immense power, they were able to go toe-to-toe with and not, just be annihilated.
Yeah.
That's awesome. I don't know too many other teams on Earth that could have done that,
Yeah, not a whole lot.
No. I mean, they were created for, you'll like this. Their first issue was Fantastic Four, number 45.
Oh, yeah, there you go.
That was another 60s team. Yeah. They were created by Actually, they were co-created by Jack Kirby. Who was their other creator?
Wasn't Stan Lee?
Yeah, Stan Lee. You got it, of course. Why was that even a question? But yeah, no, they live in the blue area of the moon, and they consist of Black Bolt, Medusa, of course, Karnak. We talked about him a little bit. Gorgon. Lockjaw, the big ass dog, which is kind of interesting. Like, okay,
yeah, telepathic dog who can teleport as well.
I mean, that's just an OP dog, man. Like, what was the name of that Russian dog? The Cosmo, the astronaut?
Yeah, Cosmo, the Russian space dog.
Yeah, like, I mean, they have.
He's also telepathic. So yeah.
What, they are? Oh my gosh, we need a dog pack team. Watch, it's probably somewhere in existence. Also. And there's other generations too. Like, I know the current generation, I think, has like
Kamala Khan.
Yeah, that Miss Marvel.
Yep.
The wannabe Mr. Fantastic Miss Marvel. Yeah, the stretchy one who's like all gung ho. I think I guess something like that. I can't remember.
Yeah.
Either way, the original team is the one I'm talking about. This really cool ass royalty, old school. We're gonna live in the moon because we said so, damn it. And we're going to have this great people, and we're going to be a prospering moon kingdom.
Right.
A moondom.
For me, the Inhumans, I really enjoyed reading, like, because the most I've honestly read about Inhumans, like, I never read, like, an Inhumans title, but I've always read, like, a lot of crossover events.
Right.
Where the Inhumans are included. I've already mentioned Infinity several times on here, but Infinity is a huge one. Let's see, I think that, Medusa, well, most of them, except for Black Bolt, they're in the Thanos Imperative. That's another big one.
Yeah.
But, yeah, I think the War of the Kings, they're in that one, too. Them and the Guardians of the Galaxy.
Well, I mean, notice most of these stories that they come up in, they almost played like a god role. Like, they play like god-level stuff. Like, oh, we're going against that big of a threat?
Oh, yeah.
Better call Black Bolt in the gang.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Writing for them, and I'm reading this from other comments on the page now, but writing for them apparently was that next step. It was no longer stopping your cornerstone criminal, your bank robber, your purse snatcher, or even, you know, multi-million Earth level criminals. It was still going up against, like, oh, there's Cosmo and universe eating foes out there.
Yeah.
Let's get the Inhumans on this.
Right.
They were that level.
Yeah, I thoroughly enjoyed the Inhumans up until Marvel Disney stepped in.
Basically, yeah.
When Marvel Disney stepped in, what they did was, instead of this organic, cool concept of the Inhumans, they now began to, I don't want to say force feed them, but they began to give them so much more that it was almost overkill, and they began to do away with the X-Men. They discontinued the Fantastic Four series, and you know, they did all these things just so they can be like, okay, we're gonna put these series to the side that we don't have the movie rights to, and focus on what we do own. We know we do own the Inhumans. And guess what? Quicksilver and Scarlet Witch, they're not Magneto's kids anymore. They're now something completely different. I mean, but fortunately now that's kind of turning around. So thank God.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, the whole concept of the Inhumans I also do thoroughly enjoy. I like the idea of this royal family, that they have this mighty King Black Bolt, who's a member of also the Illuminati as well. Yeah.
Which would make sense, because why wouldn't you have the King of the Moon in the crew, you know? Oh, we better ask the Moon's opinion. What do you say, sir? Oh, you say nothing? I'm reading it, though.
Yeah. Yeah, they came down to Earth for a good little spell.
Yeah.
Very good choice.
Cool.
Next on my list here is the X-Men.
Nice, classic.
Oh, yeah, tried and true classic. Absolutely.
Wait. Which version? The version that had the snowman Iceman? He looked like he was just a walking snowman?
I mean, most snowmen are depicted as being rather wide and big. He was
they
rather
don't have
skinny.
legs.
Yeah.
That's but he still had legs. But he still looked like packed snow.
True. Of course, they were created in September 1963 in X-Men issue number 1.
Awesome.
Yep, of course, by Jack the King Kirby and Stan the Man Lee. In my opinion, I have down here, they're arguably the most well-known superhero group. Because they are extremely well-known. Once again, mostly due to like their highly successful cartoon that came out back in the 90s.
Which was awesome.
That was a great show.
Yeah.
And what made that show so great was how closely they adapted the comic series. I mean, sure, they made like changes here and there just because they kind of had to, but for a lot of it, they really did stay really close to the source material.
Yeah.
And that was highly appreciated. I really like the X-Men because of really what they represent. Like, they're different from other superhero groups in the sense that they were born different and they were treated different. And now, you know, they band together under you know, Professor X, go to his school and try to learn more about themselves and their powers and how to cope in a world that really doesn't like them. And then on top of that, they go out and they use their natural born abilities to try to save the very same people who hate them and try to, hopefully in the process, change their perception of mutants, of what they are.
That's probably the hardest fight they'll have to take on.
Absolutely.
Ever.
Yeah. And then on top of that, you know, what makes the job hard is that there's mutants out there who are sick of the humans, who are sick of being treated that way, and so they lash out against the humans. And so the X-Men are trying to basically show the world that, look, there's good humans and there's bad humans, there's good mutants and there's bad mutants. You know, you can't just put us all in one category and then do away with us.
Right.
To me, that was really when X-Men was at its best, when they focused on that conflict. You know, the 90s were a rough time for all comic books. But, you know, and then really in the 90s when we got like the Apocalypse Saga. Before that, I believe I'm pretty sure it's before that, we got the Dark Phoenix Saga, like I want to think back in the 80s.
I'll look it up real quick.
Yeah. But those were really great if you jumped on them from the beginning. But if you didn't, then you were in for a convoluted mess.
Right.
And that's always been the problem with X-Men, is that they've been really convoluted.
It literally lasted from January to October of 1980.
Oh,
yeah. There you go. Like the 80.
Yeah. But yeah, the X-Men, though, they've had some really good runs. I already mentioned the Phoenix Saga and the Apocalypse Saga and all that. But also they've had the House of M. They've had Days of Future Past.
Yes.
Of course, there's God Loves, Man Kills. That's probably my personal favorite X-Men graphic novel.
I've never read that one.
Yeah, that one, it focuses on things from a different perspective for the mutants.
Okay.
It takes the concept of William Stryker. Contrary to the movies, William Stryker isn't like this military man. He started off as a religious zealot, and he thought that the mutants were an abomination before God. I don't think that you can release this comic today without there being some controversy. But back when it was released in the 80s, it was really good, and it's really good now. But it shows a different side of the struggle that the X-Men have to face. And yeah, it's just a really intriguing, really cool story that they do here with this.
Okay.
I regard it as a really good story, and for good reason. It really is.
I'll have to borrow that one from you,
yeah.
or steal it.
What?
It depends how good it is.
What? As far as the X-Men and medias go, we've already mentioned the original cartoon series. They've had several others, like X-Men Evolution.
Good ones, yeah. Like, I enjoyed that one.
I thought Evolution was pretty good. Yeah.
It was fun.
It was pretty good. Especially since I was a teenager at the time.
Right,
that they showed these as teenagers.
I remember in particular the episode where Wolverine was tasked with teaching Kitty Pryde how to drive, and it was just disastrous the entire time. Like, no, stop.
Yeah. I remember seeing X-23 for the first time. Her very first appearance was in that TV show.
Yeah.
And
at that point, Moore pulls out like a freaking Jerry Springer thing, like, Wolverine, this is your daughter.
You are the father.
Dun, dun, dun. Or whatever their music is.
Yeah. As far as the movies go, they've had mixed receptions. I mean, in my opinion, like there's gonna be a time where we're gonna have to break down these X-Men movies.
That'll be fun.
Yeah, it would be fun. I like
because it's been a while since I've gone back and watched those. Yeah.
I still love X1.
Oh my gosh, yes.
Yeah. I'm one of the few people who think that X1, as far as the story goes, I think the story is way better than X2.
Yeah, no, that's true.
Yeah. Thank you. I'm glad someone else thinks that.
X2 was fun.
It was fun.
Super cool.
A lot of cool action
on the back of Hugh Jackman.
Yeah, and that opening scene with Nightcrawler.
That was kick-ass.
Yeah.
That was awesome.
That was
like that. freaking gave Kurt Wagner the screen entirely. Like, go you. You deserve Excalibur at this point.
That shit was badass, yeah.
Not my favorite team, but nonetheless.
As far as like the plot to X2 goes, though, I thought it was okay, but it wasn't to me as good as the plot from X1.
Right, yeah. That one was cool. And even though X1 did change itself entirely from like not entirely, but dramatically much from the actual comic source material.
But it still had the same struggle.
Right. Yeah,
which was what it needed. Yeah. The thing about X2 though is that they focused even more on Wolverine.
Right. Like, okay, I know Hugh is the man, but give him some breathing space. Yeah. Rely on your other acting power.
Right. Yeah. There's a whole team of other mutants here. X3, we don't have to talk about that one.
What's that? What?
Shit. Oh, damn. Then after X3, we got Wolverine Origins. We don't have to talk about that one.
Like, literally, like, right now the plane is skipping on the ground.
But then we get First Class, which is an upswing.
There it is.
Yep. It wasn't great. It had some flaws, but it was...
McAvoy.
Yeah, it was a step in the right direction. And Fassbender. Don't forget Michael Fassbender.
Damn, can't forget Michael Fassbender. That man.
Then we got the Wolverine.
Okay,
which
that was fun.
I thought that was pretty good.
Yeah,
everything besides the third act.
Right.
The end of the third act was ridiculous. Yeah. But everything other than that, I really
still
enjoyed.
Remember the good fight. Not the ending fight, the good fight.
Right. After that, we get Days of Future's Past, which in my opinion is the best X-Men movie.
Okay.
Yeah. Then we get... what came after Days of Future Past? Was it Apocalypse? Yeah, it was Apocalypse. Yeah. Then we get Logan, which was amazing.
Yes.
Yeah. Absolutely. But yes, like I said, it's been a mixed bag as far as the reception goes.
Right. Yeah.
But
Logan being the awesome ending note.
Oh yeah. Yeah. Logan being at the end of the Wolverine trilogy, definitely the Wolverine trilogy ended on a high note for sure.
Oh yeah.
X-Men trilogy.
Basically, dude.
Oh yeah, I forgot to mention Apocalypse. I didn't say Apocalypse, did I?
No, you did.
Okay.
Yeah, you said it.
Cool. Yeah. And Dark Phoenix coming out later on this year sometime.
Right. Yep. Good luck to you, Sophie Turner.
Yep.
Let the movie be good.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's what I got for X-Men. Still one of the greatest superhero teams ever.
Not bad. Yeah. I mean, no, that's a great choice, you know. Nothing wrong with the popular ones, for sure. Another one that I chose, honestly, dude, I became a big fan of the Watchmen.
Yeah, of course they were on my list, too.
Yeah, of course, yeah. No, I mean, Watchmen, that one's been friggin' awesome for me. You know, like, I picked up the story not too terribly long ago, and I was one of those, I was like, oh, the movie came out? Well, I don't know anything about it. Until finally, again, you pushed me over the edge and said, Kevin, Watchmen, it's cool.
I literally pushed him over an edge because he had
and then I fell on the floor, and I was like, Dick? Ow!
After 6 months of intensive physical therapy, Kevin was able to recoup.
And then that's when I finally got to call you a dick, because I couldn't talk in those 6 months.
But during that time, he read The Watchmen.
Apparently, yes. It was all I could read. No, but there's very few stories that can be so allegorical and so well detailed with such a story all the while, and then also just have such crazy characters. Who would ever think to make a Rorschach psychology test into a character?
Yeah.
Who says, hey, that's an idea for a dude. Let's put that on a face. That's already a cool-ass concept by itself.
Right.
Let alone the fact that you have such symbolic characters as Ozymandias and, I mean, frickin' the importance of Night Owl and whatnot, you know? And that was just so cool to me.
Nothing was wasted in The Watchmen. Like everything served a purpose. Everything told a story.
Even the short appearance of the comedian in the very beginning. You know, it's
because the comedian he makes returns and flashbacks all throughout.
Oh yeah, no, like he's still alive in the story. Yeah. He's just serving the point as being the dead hero right now, or
quote unquote hero. Yeah.
Well said. Well timed.
Yeah.
But no, it was just super cool. From the actual storytelling and everything that was given to us, even to the smiling, bloody pin at the end.
Yes.
Like, I can't argue with them at all. Like,
and like I'm glad that the Watchmen have returned in the DC universe. But even if they haven't, like I think the ending still would have been just perfect.
Yeah, no, like I'm satisfied with the ending. I'm curious where the show's going to go. Of course, I'm going to give it a chance, but at the same time, it's like, okay, we'll see what's going on here. Don't take the standpoint of Ozymandias. Let me see something else first, please. Yeah.
But yeah, the thing about Watchmen though is that they prove that character development and character personality trumps powers and abilities, like as far as what's more important, what's more crucial,
right?
What do people really care about? I mean, because like majority of the Watchmen don't have any superpowers per se.
They just have cool costumes and dedication.
Yeah, but so what makes them so damn popular? Why do they stand out so much? It's because of their characters. It's because they don't rely on abilities to sell that comic. It was the story that sells it.
Right.
It's them that sells it. They focus so much more on like the grittiness and keeping this comic grounded in like a pseudo reality type deal, and it really helps sell it. Like it's equal parts like fantasy as it is realism and grittiness, and I love that about the Watchmen.
Very much so, yeah.
And actually, I have here, just to brag on the Watchmen some more,
because they were on your list next, weren't they?
Well, they were somewhere on there.
Okay.
Yeah, the BBC described it as the moment that comics grew up.
Oh, that's a beautiful description.
Yeah.
That's a depth. Damn.
Oh yeah.
The moment comics grew up.
Yeah.
I like that.
Yeah. And it was
well
also
said, BBC.
it was also recognized in the Times list of the top 100 best novels as one of the best English language novels published since 1923.
Damn.
Yeah. Now this isn't graphic novels; they said novels.
I noticed that. Yeah. That's a huge stepping stone.
Oh yeah.
I mean, how many of us have ever suffered the hand of the judgmental who said, "Oh, you're reading. What are you reading? Oh, this is one of these awesome graphic novels or comic books. Oh,
yeah.
So you're not really reading, it's
right?
Like, what the hell is that? What call are you making?
One day we may have a podcast about the stigma of
that would be fun.
Yeah.
I would love to do that.
Oh yeah, because there's a lot to cover there for sure.
I have read more eye-opening and symbolic and important material in comic books than I have in some books.
Yeah.
If Snooki can get a damn book published,
right.
How dare we judge comic books?
Yeah. And now here's the thing, like, and this is no disrespect to
and
Harry.
She did. She has a book, people. Don't look it up.
All right. This is no disrespect to like Harry Potter, but why aren't you judged for reading Harry Potter, but you judged for reading Batman?
Exactly.
Like,
right.
Yeah.
Batman's taking on some more real shit than Harry Potter has. Batman's villains have noses.
Well, damn.
Killer Croc has a huge freaking snout. Come on, or snout. What's the term for that? Just
it's not a snout.
I suppose we can call it a snout. We're going to call it a snout.
Mouth and nose area.
Mouth and nose. Snapping jawline.
Yeah. But basically, my point is that the Watchmen it proves that comics can hold their own.
Hell yeah, they can.
I mean, there's no reason for comic books to be this lesser, or for people to assume that this is lesser form of reading, because I mean, it really isn't. Just like people don't like to accept the fact that video games are also really good for cognitive function.
Yeah, that's true.
I mean, they are. The fact of the matter is, people do what you enjoy. If you're doing something that you enjoy, then it's time well spent.
Exactly.
Yeah. So, regardless of what your form of entertainment is, don't let anyone knock your hustle. But I say all that just to say that Watchmen making that list and the accolades that it's achieved says enough. Mm-hmm. So if anyone gives you shit for reading graphic novels, say, well, look at the Watchmen. Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Mic drop.
Yeah.
But don't drop the mics because those are expensive.
Yeah. We won't drop our mics, that's for sure.
Don't.
Yeah. So I guess it's technically mine next. We kind of
Yeah, I mean, technically, if we talk about Watchmen, then hit me up. What's the next one?
Let's see.
I was about to say, how many did you have?
I just, we won't have to talk about all of mine here, but I just took down some.
I was about to say, I prepped 4.
Yeah.
And we talked about 4.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
I literally prepped 8.
8? Shit, dude. I mean,
because I didn't have a number in mind when I started prepping for my notes.
No.
And I said, I'm just going to write down whichever ones are my favorites, and then I ended up with 8.
Okay. Yeah.
But actually, I ended up originally with 6, and then I just wanted to add 2 more.
Okay.
Like the last 2, they aren't particularly like my favorites or anything, but I thought that they
deserve
mentioned.
attention.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So I'll talk about one of those next, man.
Yeah. What's up? Hit us with those real quick. And I can definitely talk about a 5th one because there's one I was debating putting on the list. But I would be surprised if you didn't mention it. Yeah.
Yeah. Like if it's a heavy hitter, then yeah.
Yeah. It's a heavy hitter.
Right. So one of the more obscure ones I was going to put on here was Suicide Squad.
Really?
Yeah. So Suicide Squad is actually one of the newer comic books that we mentioned here.
Right. And it is a cool concept.
It is, yeah. They made their debut in The Brave and the Bold issue 25 in September 2001. Odd timing there.
Yeah.
But the modern version made their debut in Legends issue number 3, January 2010.
I hope no one else got that.
We're just going to keep on moving.
We're going to keep running.
So, like you said, Suicide Squad, like, they're an incredibly original concept. Like, I love the idea of the Suicide Squad, of taking this band of criminals and pretty much forcing them to do a mission that either A, is going to get you killed,
right,
or B, it's going to get you killed because you try to disobey.
Right. Like
either way, it can be deemed a suicide squad.
So at that point, it's like, all right, well, you're basically slave heroes now.
Basically, yeah. I mean, like, can you call them heroes?
Not really.
That's the big,
because they still do them,
right? Yeah. And so they're given a task, and they're under the direction of Amanda Waller. And, they have to fulfill a specific task. Like, once again, it's extremely dangerous. And, whether they can do it or not, well, that's the thing. Like, if they fail, then, well, they're just criminals.
Exactly.
Yeah. And if they succeed, great. We'll reduce the time of their sentence. Unless they're like Captain Boomerang and they're forever.
Right, yeah.
But, so, what I have down here, though, is that the current and the most popular incarnation of them is, of course, Captain Boomerang, Deadshot, Enchantress, Harley Quinn, Katana, and Killer Croc.
Right.
So, in the comics and also in the movie, that's pretty much what they went with. Now, as far as them in media goes, there's two major things that I look for. One is Assault on Arkham, which was an amazing movie.
Yes, I was hoping you were going to bring that up.
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
So if you haven't seen Assault on Arkham, it's of course it's a DC cartoon movie that came out a couple years ago, and it was a really fun movie, really good. It was, of course, starring the Suicide Squad. A couple of the members were slightly different, but for the most part, they were the same members. Enchantress wasn't in there. Killer Croc was replaced with another big, intimidating creature, like some kind of shark monster. I forget what his name was. But
Killer Alligator.
I said shark monster, Kevin.
And that, I heard Killer Croc in my mind. I was thinking Killer Croc, and then it's like, oh, it's a parallel to him. Okay, but no. So Killer Shark Monster.
But this version of the Suicide Squad, though, or in this movie, Assault on Arkham, they really took the concept and they made it great because they had to basically infiltrate, I think it was Arkham Asylum, and to complete their mission. And I always thought that if Suicide Squad just adapted this as a screenplay, Suicide Squad would have been one of the best movies of that year. Because it had equal parts Joker and Batman, but it still kept the limelight and the focus on the Suicide Squad, and it made you really like and appreciate these characters more. Suicide Squad, I feel like they tried to play it too safe, and in doing so, they faltered.
Yeah.
Like Suicide Squad, at its best, is just a mediocre movie. I don't think it's nearly as bad as people describe it, but it's not a great film either. To me, it's right there in the middle. It's just okay. When we finally reviewed that movie too, we'll definitely give a more in-depth analysis on it.
Right.
But yeah, so I think that they can still make a good Suicide Squad movie.
It's definitely possible.
Yeah, if they put the same time, energy, and creativity that they did with Assault on Arkham, they'll have a hit on their hands.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
That should just be the second movie.
Yeah. Honestly, it should be.
Yeah.
I mean, it really should be. But hey, I think that they should do that for the first movie, to be honest.
They really should have.
Yeah.
That I would have been super happy with that.
Yeah.
But whatever.
Yeah.
Yep. I was about to say, do you want to talk about another one?
I mean, yeah, unless you had another one. Yeah.
I do have another one. One that I do like. I've always been a fan of the original Justice League.
Yeah.
And, color me typical because I like them because they're awesome, because they're popular, because they had a kick-ass cartoon series,
It's my favorite team of all time.
There you go.
Yep.
Then there you go. We stand there.
Yep.
But no, I mean, Justice League was always fun to watch as a kid growing up, and then learning more and more about their comics and their other in-depth stories happening there, and how the team continues to grow and change and all that, and fluctuate. That was always cool to me,
Mm-hmm.
I appreciated how DC had the staples of Superman, Batman, and Wonder Woman. But it was still fascinating to me that all these different types of heroes were able to get together.
Right.
And it was a decent mix, you know?
Yeah.
You got your Cosmos Warrior, the Green Lantern, that's my name for him. I know you have your own thoughts.
Yes.
Definitely.
Yeah.
You've got freaking Martian Manhunter who basically decides he's going to protect man with the name Manhunter. Who loves Oreos, which is cool.
He does love
That's
Oreos,
cool.
yeah.
Just give him little details like that. But who's also still a very awesome shapeshifter all the same and very talented as a hero. And just this entire crew, really, it was fun watching their adventures,
Yeah.
I loved the cartoon growing up, and that just kind of always built a soft spot. Like, if you offered to me post-podcast, if it wasn't so late, if you offered to me, hey, you want to go downstairs and watch an episode or two? I'm a 27-year-old man, and I'll still say, hell yeah, let's do it.
Yeah, it's a
I'll get a
great
snack.
show, yeah. I mean, yeah, and Justice League was a great show, and really what made this so great was that, I mean, for one thing, technically it is our very first superhero team ever. The only thing that predates it is the Justice Society of America.
Exactly,
Yeah,
right.
Which is like a pre-incarnation of the Justice League.
It was basically Justice League with crappy name.
Yeah. And also, one thing that I really appreciate about the Justice League, since you mentioned it, is the fact that I also think that it's the first superhero team that brings together heroes who stand on their own merit. So it wasn't like this concept was made and then you create these heroes for a team. These were individual heroes that came together as a team, and they did it 3 years before the Avengers did.
Yeah.
So I thought that was a really cool concept. And that's something that I always really appreciate about them too. They also, I thought, had a great rogue gallery because, of course, they were on my list as well.
Oh yeah, another rogue gallery has to be everybody.
Yeah.
The rogue gallery had to make their own legion in order to go against them.
Yeah.
AKA Legion of Doom.
Right, yeah, from the Legion of Doom. There's also the Crime Syndicate.
Yeah.
They were also in one of the Justice League animated movies that was really good. I forget what it was called, though. I know one of you listeners probably do.
I know, right? That listener out there is just yelling the name at their boombox or whatever.
Right.
Their boombox. Who has a boombox?
There goes old man Kevin.
Man, I have a boombox. All right. I don't use it no more, but it's somewhere. Actually, that's a lie. I lost the boombox. I have a Bluetooth speaker now. It's better sound quality and everything.
And it's not a boombox.
It's not a boombox.
It's not 1998.
I'm holding it up here to my ear, just like. I digress.
Yeah. But yeah, I freaking love the Justice League, man. They're, like I said, definitely one of my favorites. I love their stories, and I love how they're able to bring things back around. I think that they're able to keep themselves overall less convoluted than the X-Men stories.
Right, yeah.
With all due respect to the X-Men. Yeah.
Which I feel like you paid respect to earlier.
Yeah.
Definitely. Yeah. So we're good.
Yeah, we're good. We're good.
Yeah.
Let's see. What you think about the Justice League movie?
Dude, I liked it, man. I feel like there weren't as many mixed comments as there have been in the past about DC flicks. But overall, Justice League was super awesome to me, man. I loved the idea that they finally came out with their own MCU equivalent, of Avengers.
Right.
They finally had their own stepping stone to decide their own movie path here. Their map way of saying, okay, we're going to do an Aquaman movie, and then we're going to do this and that, and there's going to be another Wonder Woman. Mm-hmm. It's going to be awesome. I cannot wait for that. And Justice League, I thought, was a prime movie setting us up for all that.
Yeah. I do agree. My thought was always, whichever studio, whether it be Marvel or DC, whichever studio releases their big movie first, the latter is going to be damned.
Mm-hmm.
And I say that just because of what's happening now. Because if DC, if they follow the exact trail of Marvel, then they're going to be deemed copycats and unoriginal and not creative. But if they try to do their own thing and make their own way to it, then they're going to be deemed, well, that's stupid. Marvel didn't do it that way.
We comic people are a spiteful people.
Yeah, that's true. and we're hard to please.
We are, damn it.
That's
we
why,
demand good.
Yeah, you have to take a step back, really, and ask yourself.
I take that back. We don't demand good. We demand great.
Man,
good is just trash nowadays.
Oh, yeah. It's very true. Like, we really take for granted what we have. Like, we need to humble ourselves and remember that there was once upon a time where we had to go see movies like Daredevil in theater. Okay,
the Ben Affleck Daredevil.
Yeah, I said the movie.
Yeah. No, I'm just reminding them.
We had to watch Catwoman. All right.
Oh shit.
Batman Forever and Batman and Robin.
I've never seen that movie, Catwoman. Yeah. I'm kind of happy I never did.
Yeah, there was a time when we didn't have good comic book movies to go see people. So we need to really appreciate them when we see them. But yeah, just bringing them back to Justice League though, I thought that Justice League was also a really good movie. I mean, like, as far as like the flaws in it, it did have some,
right? Yeah.
But like I said earlier, or even with the Black Panther review, every superhero movie is going to have them,
right?
Like I haven't seen a perfect superhero movie yet, and I've seen literally them all.
And that's true. And you know what? It's I know we're never going to hit that stroke of perfection because once we do, everything afterwards is going to follow that same rule. Everything afterwards is just going to be that much worse.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, this movie did it. Why couldn't you?
All right.
But at the same time, man, Justice League was awesome. Henry Cavill did a great job. Ben Affleck did a great job as Batman.
I thought the cast had great.
All of them were awesome.
Oh, yeah, the cast had great chemistry. I thought. Yeah.
I mean.
Yeah, I thought that they were derailed by having two different directors. I thought that hurt them more than helped them. A lot of people thought they would help them, but I didn't feel that way.
No.
But I mean, because like even though you have two great directors with Zack Snyder and Joss Whedon, I mean you have two directors. That's two different visions. It's not gonna
two opposing styles.
Yeah,
exactly.
Two really opposing styles. Could you picture Joss Whedon doing Watchmen?
No.
Or could you picture Zack Snyder having to do Avengers 1? No.
Actually, I kind of can picture that last one, but it's super dark.
It'd be super dark.
Yeah. Like there's a cool-ass fight scene in the woods, and Iron Man all of a sudden comes in and starts just trying to beat in Thor's face, but all of a sudden he just hammers the piss out of Iron Man, and his like whole armor is just shattered.
So my point being, though, I wish that they had just been able to stick with Zack Snyder. I think, because Zack Snyder, I know he had an amazing vision for that movie, and it sucks that Warner Brothers didn't trust him to finish it.
Yeah,
that they essentially fired him to get someone else in to do it and to fulfill their own vision.
Right.
Yeah.
Now, is he fired, like excommunicated? Wow, I was trying to go Spanish there. Excommunicate. I was trying to say excommunicado, but then I realized, like, oh, you can't speak Spanish here. This is an English podcast. So excommunicated is what I was trying to say.
To answer your long question,
yes, just simplify the shit.
I'm not certain, but I think so.
So in other words, we're never going to see Zack Snyder DC again.
I don't think so.
Yeah, That does not bode well.
No, I don't think it bodes well.
Yeah.
I mean, don't get me wrong. Things can always change. I mean, but...
Yeah, but, I mean, what are they going to do? Get Joss Whedon to do more? I mean...
No, well, apparently Joss Whedon, they want him to do the Batgirl movie, which I can see that being okay.
Okay.
That being pretty good.
That could be cool.
Yeah. He couldn't do a Killing Joke live action.
No. I don't know who I want. Ooh. Quentin Tarantino could make an interesting Killing Joke. I don't think he'd do it the way we want to see it.
I don't think so.
But it would be a fun way. I'd still watch that. Who could do Killing Joke? Just fantasize with me. I know we're off subject. Just fantasize with me here.
What director could do Killing Joke?
Yeah. Help me out here.
I don't know.
Oh, shit. Mangold.
James Mangold, huh?
Yeah, because he would get away from the idea of the comic story and actually tell the real grit shit. He'd actually get into it, yeah. Ooh.
You know, the problem with doing a Killing Joke movie would be the problem that once again most picky viewers had with the animated movie,
right?
And that you have to add a lot of stuff to it. Because the graphic novel itself is really, really short, if you think about it.
True.
I mean, so there's no way to make like a full feature-length film based off of that alone.
As long as they don't, Planet Hulk it, with Ragnarok.
Oh.
Right.
Yeah.
Where they take that and try to infuse it with another thing,
Yeah, well.
But anyway.
Yeah, that's just bastardized.
Yeah.
But,
so I'm content. We can go back to subject.
Thank you. There was one more team I want to talk about before we close it up. Guardians of the Galaxy, actually.
Yeah.
It's on my list. Yeah. First
question: which version?
So
I'm aware of like 3 versions now. Yeah.
I'm really only aware of 2 versions.
Well, the comic book versions, but then the movie version is just like what? Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't have a big problem with the movie version. I think
I don't have a problem with it at all. Trust me, that was great.
I think they're pretty faithful adaptation to the modern version. But so Guardians made their first appearance back in 1969, January, in Marvel Superheroes issue number 18. And the original lineup was Vance Astro, Martinex Tenanga, Captain Charlie 27, and Yandu Unata. Yeah.
So Yandu being the only character from the movie who is original as well.
Yeah, from the first one.
Exactly. Yeah. Just specifying for everybody out there.
Yeah. The only 2 from the original lineup that I'm familiar with is Yandu and Vance Astro. Those are the only 2 I know. Everyone else like Captain Charlie 27 and
that's kind of a cool name, but you're just like, wait, why are you number 27?
Well, apparently there were 26 others.
He was cloned that many times.
But I mean, I haven't read that much of the original Guardians, to be honest. Like everything I've read is definitely the recent incarnation. And when I say recent, I mean the most recent, because they're not that recent,
right?
But of course, the current incarnation has exploded in popularity, due to the movies. And I do like the current incarnation, to be honest. I mean, I had mixed emotions about the second one, and by mixed emotions, I mean I didn't think it was that good.
Right.
But Guardians 1, I thought was a fantastic movie. I thought that it was the second best superhero movie that year. Of course, the first best was Winter Soldier. But yeah, so the thing about the Guardians that I really enjoy is that it really is just a ragtag team of like these random hodgepodge people working together.
Yeah.
The movie, specifically the first one, really breathed life into these characters. I mean, don't get me wrong, reading them in the comics is really fun. But there is a slightly different take, a personality tweak to some of these characters in the story. I think that Bradley Cooper's Rocket Raccoon, I think that he's arguably the most faithful to the source material.
That's funny.
Yeah. Drax, in the first one, I thought that he was pretty faithful.
Yeah, he was kind of bipolar there.
Yeah,
between the movies.
Yeah, had Drax continued his focus on wanting to kill Thanos, had Drax considered that his mission in life, then I mean that's all you have to do to nail Drax is
Really,
have his mission in life be focused on killing Thanos, and if he comes back to life, your mission in life is to kill Thanos again. Like that is your purpose.
Yep. Kind of hard to mess that up.
But they did.
But they did somehow.
Yeah, I mean, and they were on such the right track because Drax, he was hell bent on killing Thanos. That's what he wanted to do.
He was great in the first movie.
Oh yeah. And even Dave Bautista in a podcast once, he said that he was kind of worried during the table reading because he felt that this was a little too much comedy and that it wasn't the Drax that people knew from the original Guardians. But then he also said that fortunately he said he is going to go back to that original Drax for Infinity War.
Good.
Yeah, that's what we need.
It's like he got off of ego and decided, oh, that's right, we got shit to do. Let's go.
Yeah. Why is your knife out?
Oh no, I was just cutting off the frizz in my jeans real quick. Yeah.
Oh, I'm glad you're focusing here.
Indeed.
Yep. So I think that the Guardians, though, they overall make it for a really good team, really interesting team.
It's been hella fun to watch, dude.
Yeah.
I mean, their 2014 movie really just swept people out of their chairs.
Oh, yeah. It did. I mean, I think it did partly because it was really such a good movie, and also partly because people didn't expect it.
Right.
It's one thing.
Came out of nowhere.
Yeah, it's one thing when you expect it to be a good movie and then it does good, it meets your expectations. But when you have no expectations and then it's a really well done movie, that's something completely different.
Yeah, very much so.
Yeah. But I mean, overall, Guardians 1 was great. Guardians 2, speaking of Guardians 1, though, we're actually going to be covering that this coming Wednesday.
That's true. Yeah, good time to announce that.
Yeah.
So we'll all have to go watch that.
Right. I mean, there's one last team I had on my list. I figured, shit, that's the last team, so might as well talk about them just a little bit.
Yeah, go ahead. Who is it?
The Avengers.
Of course.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I mean, it's hard to argue with that. The Avengers also kind of play the same card the Justice League plays. They do have a good sparsity of types of heroes, and that's appreciated, especially by me.
Yeah. I will say that overall, I think that, in my opinion anyway, the Justice League, they retain the Justice League, they do have a revolving door, but I think that the Avengers has a way more revolving door than the Justice League does. Justice League,
you want to be part of the team? Come on in.
Yeah. I mean, with Justice League, you can pick up pretty much any issue, and you're for sure going to see Flash, you're going to see Green Lantern, you're going to see Batman, Wonder Woman, Superman.
Yeah.
With Avengers, I can't guarantee that you're going to see Iron Man, Captain America, Hulk, Thor.
Right, yeah.
I can't guarantee that you're going to see that.
And it depends which type of Avengers you pick up, because eventually you might pick up the Avengers by accident that has a Luke Cage, Wolverine, and it's like, whoa, okay.
Yeah, you can pick up New Avengers, which that's what that is. You can pick up West Coast Avengers. You could pick up, that's, who knows. But Avengers, I think, is a great group. It is the most mainstream superhero group. Like, I mean, people that know nothing about superheroes, if you ask them, what's the Avengers, they're either going to say it's the superhero team, or they're going to say it's a car made by Dodge. They'll be correct in either instance.
Okay, car salesman, your jokes.
I'm not a car salesman.
No, you're not a car salesman.
Put that on.
You work for a...
Don't wish that evil on me.
Your car jokes. There it is. I was a car salesman. I did quit though. Yeah. It was too evil.
So as I was putting this together, I realized that Infinity War is going to be the first time that we see all of the original members of the Avengers in one movie.
That's true.
Yeah. We're gonna have.
No. Oh, that's right. Oh, yeah, wasps. That's right. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Okay, continue, please.
Yep. Yeah, they're all going to be in there, so it's going to be the first time that we get it.
Yeah. I had to think about that because it was like, well, wait a minute now. Civil War, though they weren't technically a team, they were two teams. But then it's like, no, Wasp wasn't present.
No, Wasp was not there.
That's the factor.
Yeah.
Unless there's another one I'm not thinking about. No. I think that's it, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, technically Captain America was not a founding member, but he's going to be there anyway. So.
Right.
You got Iron Man. You got Wasp. You got Ant-Man / Giant Man.
Right, yeah. In this case, he'll just probably still have the tagline Ant-Man.
Yep. You got Hulk and you got Thor. You got everybody.
Yeah, that's true. Mm-hmm. Damn.
Yep.
Oh, wait. Scarlet Witch. Was she original?
Scarlet Witch and Pietro?
No, they weren't original. Okay.
No. They come on a little bit later, just like Hawkeye.
Gotcha. Mm-hmm. I couldn't remember.
So, of course, we all know the Avengers. So, like, really, my notes on them really pertain to, like, their role in the comics. Like, some of my favorite stories about them.
Right.
I have down here, like, the Civil War storyline in the comics, not the movie. Although it's disjointed at times, it does show, like, the depth and mentality that the characters have. And so I really appreciate that about that story arc. The Civil War story arc was no easy feat. It couldn't have been an easy thing to do for those comic creators. I think, who was it? Mark Miller? I think it was Miller. Pretty sure it was Miller. But one thing that I really like about that particular storyline is that it's completely different. Like, we've had teams, kind of have their spats and fight each other before, but nothing like this. Nothing that really struck on, like, a basis of morality. Nothing that really divided the team in two like that. Like, that's never been done up until now. And thankfully, it was done with grace. And so that storyline I thought was one of the best. Even though, like I said, it does have its issues. It is a great storyline. Then, of course, House of M and what was up?
No, I tried looking at Mark Miller. I got the wrong Mark Miller.
Yeah.
This dude is an American television actor. So yeah, not the Mark Miller that we want. He's the Mark Miller that was in Hellraiser, The Toll, Hellraiser Anthology, and others.
Was he in Hellraiser?
I know, right? You think? Yeah, maybe.
Yeah. But no, I think that the Avengers is a really cool group, and they did something that no other superhero movie will ever do. I mean, they're the first to take a group of movies as individual heroes and then bring them together in one movie. So I thought that's a really cool thing. I mean, you can never take that away from them.
That's true.
Yeah.
Very much so, man.
Yeah.
I did find the right Mark Miller, and yes,
okay.
He was Civil War.
Yeah.
You got it. Yeah. So, just know there are two Mark Millers.
Yep. One was in Hellraiser, and one wrote Civil War.
One was in a few Hellraisers.
Yeah.
He raised hell quite a lot.
Yep. So I'm gonna have a comic question of the week. Which
okay?
Who wrote Civil War? Was it Bill Baxby? Was it Carl Thomas? Was it Mark Miller or was it Mark Miller?
Well, shit.
Yep.
I choose the correct Mark Miller final answer.
That is incorrect. It was actually D, Mark Miller.
What?
Oh, shit. Yeah, but anything else you got to say about the Avengers before we close it up here? Avengers last thing out here.
I'm just going to express my worry again, man.
Yeah.
I really just want Infinity War to be great.
Mm-hmm.
That's all I want, man. I don't want too much.
What do you think Infinity War has to do to be a good movie?
Honestly, it has to do the same thing Black Panther did so well. It has to balance. It has to actually do...
With like 20 plus heroes, how do you find that balance?
Well, no, that's the thing. That's the balance. That's the act. In fact, that's the game you have to play, because with that much casting power, with that much, acting power behind your movie, you really do need to carefully plan and strategically write this shit out. And they've had the time. They've been setting up for this for 10 years now, This movie has been strategized for a long-ass time.
Yeah.
So for them to put out with a mediocre product at this time would be kind of like a Marvel slap to the face, but also where they kind of turn around and bitch slap themselves too, It's like, oh, congrats, you semi-wasted 10 years on a just okay movie. You know, it needs to be meticulously planned out like Black Panther was. You know, because that movie was well written. It was well made. It was good. Was it perfect? Of course not. Will Infinity War be perfect? Of course not. Knock on wood. But the point is, I want this movie to also show that effort. It needs to be well put together and not just a filler to step us off into the next 10 years of Marvel.
Right.
You know?
Yeah, I feel like just like with Avengers 1, I think I said this before, but the reason why the first Avengers was better than the second one was because, A, it was the first time it had been done. Yep. That's an unfair advantage, but it's there. Yeah. And B, because they weren't focused on anything else. Like, they were focused on telling that story. Like, this is Avengers, this is what we're telling you here. Exactly. This is what you get.
And we're not going to worry about the future until you see the cutscene.
Right. And Avengers 2, Avengers 2, that's not even the end of that phase. No. That's how unfocused they were for that one.
Yeah. Like, you got a cool villain, and you super nerfed them, and then, what's going on with them now?
Avengers 2, Age of Ultron, like, there's that weird subplot with Thor when he sees that something's going on with Asgard, and they never tie that thread up. They never
really go out. Like, he goes to that hot tub, and it's like, what the shit? Yeah. Did you take a bath? I mean, what am I supposed to do?
There's the
Did
civil...
you cut your hair?
Yeah, there's the Civil War sub-thread that's never quite that they worry about building up. And, instead of worrying about, like, their villain and like, the proper way to do him and the proper way to end the movie, like, it's just a little too disjointed. But I feel that Infinity War is really going to have to, like, Thanos is going to have to be a better villain even than Killmonger.
That is asking a lot. Because
that's what he has to do.
People are talking about how Killmonger's been the best thus far. Like, that's been the reception on the internet. And that's debatable, even on our level. Like, you're not wrong, guys. He was pretty damn boss.
I mean, Killmonger, he's definitely top 2.
Like, exactly, yeah. Like, okay.
It's him and Phase 1 Loki. Like, who else, what other villain in the MCU was better?
Yeah.
Like, off the top of my head, I can't think of anyone.
No, not a one.
No. That's just the way it is. But yeah, Thanos, they're gonna have to nail him.
Oh yeah.
I mean, and the issue is, like, from just a comic book storytelling standpoint, Thanos' motives, they're not as interesting as Killmonger's.
Exactly.
That's gonna be a problem.
Yeah. They really need to play up the dedication to death here. They really need
They got to play up the nihilism.
Exactly. His need to impress her and just his desire to be boss. To just say, you know what? You are a flea on my back, and it's time to exterminate you and to eradicate your species. Right. And just some real dark, heavy shit like that.
Yeah.
Don't Disney this up.
Right, he's got to be a deep character.
Exactly, yes.
He's got to be deep, he's got to be imposing. I think that they're going to nail the power thing down, I think. Right. I mean,
Let's hope so.
They let me down
Unless
with
they
Age of
forget
Ultron.
the one gem. If they forget Soul, then it's like, shit, we never wrote that in the movies. Which we never talked about that option. It's not very, it's not very likely. But
they're just not going to
have.
They
just forgot the Soul gem. Like, shit, we have no soul.
That would be accurate for Disney.
That's why we haven't seen it yet.
Oh shit! But that does bring up a good question, though.
What's up?
Where the hell that last Soul gem is?
Why not? Let's talk about it. Shit, dude. I mean, what were your theories again? Please remind us.
So, before Black Panther, if you guys go back and listen to the preview podcast, my theories were it's going to be the heart-shaped herb.
Which, that was cool, but yeah.
I mean, and some people online actually were getting behind that theory, which made me proud. And they're saying, that they think it's still a thing. That, like, underneath the scorched earth, they're going to find that where the heart-shaped herb was growing is going to be a gem.
Don't get too big a head now.
Oh, no big head. Just came up with a bomb match theory is all. My other theory was that it could be in Necropolis.
Right.
Which, who knows? I mean, and then my last theory was that it's still in Adam Warlock's head.
Yeah, I'm feeling that one the most right now. Yeah.
That means that we have to get Adam Warlock at least by Avengers 4.
Yeah.
And I mean,
that's true because this movie, he might not even be able to fully power up.
Yeah.
I mean, we've already been introduced to the idea, the concept of Warlock right now. So, yeah. We'll see. We'll just put it in their hands and wait, I guess.
Yeah. I mean, like, as far as other theories go, I don't know. I mean, I do still think it's a possibility it could be in Wakanda, because why else would Thanos and his Black Order be attacking Wakanda?
Yeah, that's true. That's true. I mean, that definitely does play into that theory really well.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Who knows?
Yeah, who knows,
people?
I mean, we'll see what their reasoning is. Hopefully, it's a sound one. Hopefully, it's a well-written one that works. We'll see.
Yeah. But I think we'll go ahead and close up shop here.
Let's do it, my friend. Real quick, I did want to give a royal shout out. As you guys know, the Black Panther announcement on Facebook for the podcast about the movie after we saw the movie, not the preview. If I can clarify that anymore, let me know. But some cool people decided to share that, and we deeply appreciate all the effort that you guys have been making in order to really get that out there, because that reflects well on us, that gets more people on our wing here, thus more homies. And we all love that.
Yeah.
But one group in particular that shared, I wanted to call them out and, give them a little bit of that extra love. And I say that, and there it is, right there. The Lumina Theater in freaking Chapel Hill, North Carolina. The town name, that's interesting, Chapel Hill. I've never been there. Have you been there? Have we driven by that? I know we've been to Asheville, but not Chapel Hill. That rhymes. I digress. The point is, to you guys, hell yeah, thank you. We hope that you find a good time to organically share our podcast again, and that we can continue, being an awesome podcast for you guys to participate and listen to as well.
Oh yeah.
Just wanted to give them some love, man.
Well, yeah, big thanks to them and to everyone who listens to the podcast and who supports us. As you guys, they really keep us afloat. We're gonna go ahead and close up shop here. Of course, this coming Wednesday we have our Guardians of the Galaxy review, Guardians of the Galaxy 1, that is, and
there's gonna be so much pelvic dancing. Yeah, just on my part, I'm gonna dance. I'm gonna try to do my Kristen Pratt reenactment.
You guys can go ahead and thank me now that we don't have like a video podcast. So
I know, right?
So you guys don't have to see that,
and everyone hates us then. The end. I'm joking. There'll be no dancing. My mic cord's not that long.
Yeah. But of course, guys, thank you again for all your support. If you guys really like what you hear, then go ahead and hit that subscribe button. And also, if you like what you hear, you can give us a like on iTunes. That also really helps us out a lot. Preferably a 5-star rating,
Yeah, for sure.
And of course, if you guys have any questions, comments, gifts, threats, food supplies, artifacts, then you can hit us up at superherohomies@gmail.com or our Facebook page of the same name, Superhero Homies. Oh, yeah. And as always, guys, thank you guys again for listening. My name is Quentin.
I'm Kevin.
See you next time.